Hi everyone, I'm Ben Brocksome. I am the AIC lobbyist, and it was my pleasure to serve you all in the 2020 Idaho legislative session. I think lobbyists get a bad rap sometimes, and a lot of people have a belief or stereotype of what a lobbyist is, but I'd like to spend a little time explaining who I am and how I do things, and hopefully provide a little bit more clarity about why having a lobbyist in the Capitol is important to represent the association and the interests of the cities throughout the state. I think first and foremost, a lobbyist's role is to provide leverage and value. Those two things are not mutually exclusive, they go together. You can't add value if you don't have leverage, and you can't have leverage if you can't add value. So if you're taking notes and writing that down, it's not going to pencil out, but the truth of the matter is everything we do and everything I do as a lobbyist on your behalf revolves around trying to add value and using the leverage that I have. Leverage is both positive and negative. If we're for an issue and are working hard, we're going to call in all our friends and get as many votes as we can. And similarly, if there's something that we don't like or that would be detrimental, we have to work hard to find those folks who are also against that issue. So the way we do that is also interesting, and I think for me a lot of fun, and really why I got into the business I did, and I call it the 3 Ps. So that's process, politics, and policy. And I just want to talk through each of those real quick. So process is obviously important. Process is understanding the rules. The House has rules, the Senate has rules. The governor usually abides by a set of rules, he and his staff. Understanding those process steps, the different rules that are in place are very, very important. There's also the unwritten process, the things you can say, the things you can't say, when to talk to people, how to talk to people, the way you work through secretaries with different chairmen. All of those things are very important and just comes from learning and practice. Policy would be the next one. You may understand the process fully, but if you can't engage on the policy and have a conversation, you're going to get tripped up. So if you don't understand the nuance of the policy and you don't spend time researching the policy and understanding where the different parties are at on it, you can't be successful. So we really dove into some big policies. I'll get into that in just a little bit, but understanding the role of policy and that it's different than politics is very, very important. And lastly, I would say the 3rd P is politics, but I don't think that's party affiliation. It's not independents, Republicans, and Democrats. It's the politics of the building. It's the relationships with each of the people who are making decisions and how they interact with each other. Maybe a better word for that would be relationships, but if you really understand those nuances and you can operate in that arena, you can be very successful. And we found that to be true this year for AIC. We had a lot of successes. We were under attack well before session started on property tax issues. Our budgets were scrutinized. We were accused of many things, and ultimately we were able to protect ourselves and our process. We were also able to do a few things to make the process better and more transparent for our citizens and our taxpayers, and I think that's important. As we worked through those 3 Ps and tried to provide leverage and value, we found a lot of time and energy put into issues surrounding broadband and expanding access, especially in rural parts of the state. That's something that the governor has been passionate about, House and Senate leadership have supported, and so ultimately we reached a situation where the status quo was very much protected, and we're hoping to move forward from there in the coming months and into next year. But we were able to get rid of a few bad ideas and move the ball forward a little bit on what it should look like for statewide broadband. I also want to touch on the rules a little bit. I know I preach this regularly whenever I speak to any of you, and this entire process has just been so fascinating over the past couple years. And you know, for generations, the rules process was very rigid, was very matter of fact, and anytime a large policy passed, anytime a big new bill came in, everyone just expected a subset of rules to come into play. And that has really been turned on its head over the past couple of years. The so-called go-home bill, which is usually one of the last bills the legislature passes, which enacts all the rules for the 2nd year in a row, was not passed. And so we've established a new norm in that, new normal with the House and Senate not agreeing to the rules, both the process and the rules themselves. We found ourselves under attack with building codes and energy codes multiple times this year. And so, again, a lot of educating, a lot of really delving into the policies and then figuring out the process because it is different. So a lot of fun there, but also a lot of challenge and a lot of hard work. We worked on annexation. We saw multiple pieces of legislation be introduced about that. We worked on first responders and second responders issues, making sure people are protected. As I'm sure most of you know, we experienced an earthquake for the first time in a long time, a pretty sizable one this year, and had just passed legislation to make sure that the processes that the city use with technical professionals are available and increased. We've also seen a pretty drastic shift as session ended with COVID-19 and coronavirus rolling out, and how we do things both from public record standpoint, open meeting law standpoint. All of those things have been questioned and challenged, and I think through the growing pains and through the challenges of that virus, we've been able to really grow and learn. And if you're like me, you learned some new technology and probably made some mistakes on video conferences and teleconferences over the past few weeks. So as we move forward, many other issues. Encourage you to review the bill tracker, encourage you to review our positions and the work that we did this past session. We are now looking forward. We will have interim committees on property tax. We will have other interim committees that we pay close attention to. We'll also be working in the interim to continue to develop relationships and identify new champions. We have a lot of legislative retirements and people seeking different offices and different seats, and so with that shuffle always comes new opportunity to find new champions, new opportunity for people that maybe don't have our best interest who also will move into more of a leadership role, and so we have to do our work there. So again, it's my pleasure to serve you. I'm always available for questions. If you ever need anything, feel free to reach out to me or staff. We are here to serve, and I enjoy what I do. I love what I do, and I'm proud to do it on behalf of AIC. So I thank you and look forward to seeing you in person soon.